connecting thing anymore. I'm having like a hard day as it really. It's a little bit better. Okay. I have babies in this world and I want them back. Okay. It's not just Eugene. I have a lot of. Is he 26? Is he 30? I don't know. So how long were me and Jason Momoa dead for? If Saeed's 30 years old, dude, y'all into us, you don't know who we are and making Cynthia act dumb. Y'all make Cynthia act dumb. Bump. Okay, because they eat well. Okay, don't be jealous because people eat well. Okay, I don't know what's wrong with you that you're jealous of people. Talk about all the stuff that you see. I had a friend, Fidelity, who Fidelity HSA goes to Mattel. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that Mattel is Fidelity and it's the one that didn't go through today. So she had to cancel it and reorder it. And then he said, at the most, it should take 2 days. Fresh cat. I have Fresh at least. I could drop off Fresh at Saeed's office once a week. He could really have office. I'm alone, but I have Fresh. So office. I'm alone, but I have Fresh. So it's just common knowledge to us. Oh, you get Fresh once a week. I'm buying him a bed, buying him toys. That's why Pop-Up's doing. That's why Pop-Up's doing instinct training, so that you don't have to worry, Saeed, because we've had enough. So that you don't have to worry, Saeed, because we've had enough. You know, he's with his big brother. He's his uncle. Kind of the same as Chris Evans and Ryan. They don't listen. Kind of the same as Chris Evans and Ryan. They don't listen. They're really happy to see me starve and not have lunch. They're really happy to see me starve and not have lunch. They're really happy to see me. They're really happy to see me not be able to talk to family members. They're really win. Matter if they're spending eternity in hell because they're you know, separating me and Saeed literally today. You know, you're care about having a minuscule amount of mosquito power, the ability. And I got a Saeed. You know, I might understand people, you know, I might understand people in general, and they sometimes happen. What I'm saying, connoisseur, like for anything, like he's really good at that stuff. Connoisseur, like for anything, like he's really good at that stuff. He's really into kindness, and thought that it was like. Matt got like starry-eyed when I said that I live directly on Melrose Boulevard. And Matt's like, you lived in the 1940s or like the 1920s, like around then. So it's like old classic Hollywood. Like there's these old classic Hollywood like apartments, like the makeup, and it comes with a built-in desk is what I'm trying to say in the hallway. And they all come like that. They both definitely had one, and there was like a few other girls. Like it's sort of like a rite of passage to get like the old school Hollywood apartment. Like it's like they all have that like desk in the hallway or like this. and it has like the makeup vanity built right into the apartment because it's like that, and like they usually use it for like their home office, but like so same shit different day, same shit different day. So it has, so that's why the apartment's super cool. So it has like that, the boudoir built right in, and to like be able to work from home sometimes, or just, you know what I mean, like it's built right in to the test you get an apartment like that. And I don't have to like I was Marilyn Monroe, so I was the originator of like that. um um so that was how you would get like a Hollywood apartment or whatever. And Mike also wants to know, because no, because I wasn't conscious or cognizant of any of that. And um, ask and it's given is compared by Anunnaki, the cheese, is yeah, sure. Anunnaki, the cheese, is yeah, sure. Ask and it's given. Yeah, sure. I'll give you the house, and then you're not Anunnaki, so there's nothing there. So that's sort of how it works for Anunnaki. But when I got my Marilyn Monroe apartment, I was super, and it's probably a part of Secret LA that you can't find on Wikipedia. So it probably was my apartment when I was married to Joe DiMaggio, who's Hayden Christensen. Okay, so including that one, I lived in one other apartment. I lived in a studio. It was actually Marilyn Monroe's actual studio apartment, and I lived there with Johnny. And where I started my career, I want to say 3D corporate is doing much better than Hollywood because I don't have to promote myself to director. And I'm super chill. I'm super, super chilled. That is, Alyssa thinks those are her words. So if we could, Alyssa thinks those are her words. So if we could like, please, just one cheese right after another on the stairs. So yeah, so I guess we're gonna Joe DiMaggio. Station slot and lonely, I'm on you. Ooh, what's that you say, Mrs. Robinson? Heaven holds a place for those who pray. Ooh, what's that you say, Mrs. Robinson? Am I safe? Am I safe? I literally don't know, dude. Y'all are trying to mess with my Cynthia, mess with my Saeed, so you're trying to mess with the rest of my mess with me. And they only come in LA. They're only here in LA. I don't know if I ever gave you guys a tour of my of a boudoir apartment until I finally chose the right one in Hollywood. But they're so beautiful because they have drawers and the desk, which we called the vanity in that light. What is that called? An entire bureau. That's probably why Alyssa calls it the boudoir, because it comes with a whole bureau built into the wall, and it was a gift from Marilyn Monroe to the beautiful women of Los Angeles who were in line with her. And then there's plenty of closet space to hang things, because they had bigger closets back then. They had kind of walk-in some closets, which some people revised to be mini offices, but they would come with mini walk-in closets and then a bureau with the vanity. So it was like a Barbie house, but it didn't to be, and clearly Jane Mansfield. And so it was to make it like as easy as possible if you couldn't get a man to help you back then without offering yourself, which is obviously against the law, and of Anunnaki blood, because JFK was my husband back then. I was Marilyn Monroe. I was clearly married to JFK. You made the whole fucking mistress scandal, whatever. That was pure nonsense. I was married. So just keep staring. Okay, it's obviously my son staring through. My son wouldn't stare at me. Okay, so I'm sick of it. How many times do we have to say, you can't steal my son's fucking... Okay, I love that guy. And they almost named their daughter Alyssa. Okay, they almost named their daughter Alyssa. And how were they going to spell it? Probably A. Of course, they would have tried to name her Elissa, because it's my goddamn son. You know, they're a slut for their mom. So they want to fucking name their fucking child Elissa. They can't. So they go to the closest one. It's Alyssa. Where the fuck did all Vivian? Or just, it was just something nice and normal. And I was like, oh my God, thank God it is not Alyssa, because they probably would have spelled it Alyssa. And look at how many problems she's giving us. So my instincts were correct that year when I was like, do not. So nobody's gonna know what the fuck you're talking. They can't spell it Eoyssa, so nobody is gonna know what the fuck you're talking about. And they were like, okay, mom, and they like named her Vivian or something. It always goes back to the higher self, and that's the fail-safe space drop. But why would... I'm just so fucking angry that my bank is like taking so long to deposit the to Luke. You can do that to Spencer Pratt. You can do that to me. If you can act like I'm a lone wolf in the game, and that I am not married to Vasily, and that I'm not here to be with Vasily literally day and night and day. If you can pretend that that's not Chris Evans' house and I'm not Chris Evans to any